I wanted to cover in this second video of Chaos Theory Astrology the beginnings of that art and science. Here we see a very simple arrangement of planets and the node, and also a part of fortune which I'll explain in a few minutes. Over millennia, ancient peoples begin to realize that when the visible planets in the sky would form certain relationships with each other, or certain angular relationships with 0 Aries, which is the point that the tropical zodiac comes from, the point that the sun begins to rise in the northern hemisphere. They begin to link all these positions with events and conditions on Earth. It was a very long time before this was applied to personal lives, the births of individual natives. But it was an extremely powerful system even from the start after it was developed and people began to match planetary placements and angles with each other to physical events. There was consistency there. Originally the Babylonians had 36 sections of space based on the Aries equinoctial point in spring, and these are termed decades. But overall, we have shifted over to the 12 sign zodiacal system. There was much progress on this over centuries, and ancient man during the Hellenistic period began to realize that you could add and subtract the angles of different objects with each other to come up with 3-part formulas, which the original 7 were the lots. This is the lot of fortune, the primary one with the lot of spirit. Those two are extremely important in charts. As the centuries progressed, we begin to discover additional points which are not normally visible in surrounding space, including the major discovered planets of Uranus and Neptune, and also Pluto and various asteroids, which I am not showing here. They also discovered a planet between the orbits of Saturn and Uranus called Chiron, and that was deemed very useful as a go-between between the normal limits of personalities, etc., to the greater world or the greater universe. I will not be going into Chiron here, but this is the more modern chart that is frequently used. Another additional point is called the black moon, which is shown here at the arrow, which deals with the further position that the moon goes in orbit. It also has been determined to have meanings. Primary to all astrology charts are the basic angles of the midheaven, nadir, the ascendant, and the descendant, and also we have a point called the vertex, which has to do with the ascendant at the time of a beginning, whether it is a person or a business or a nation or whatever. During the early 1900s, various German astrologers began to experiment with rotating dials. You could point the pointer of the dial, seen in red here, at any one of these points and determine angular relationships with other planets and points from that pointer axis. This is an important advancement. Later on, they begin to experiment with other dials. This one is the 90 or fourth harmonic, which is basically space overlaid onto each other. 4 parts. You have the cardinal signs, fixed signs, and mutable signs overlaid on each other, and this acts as a magnifying glass, which enables you to zoom in on any chart and see what I call the fine structure of that chart. Each of these planets and points have midpoints between each other, and these midpoints are axes through which other planets and bodies and points can be reflected through. And when these have some connection angularly with what is called personal or event points of the chart, such as the midheaven, Aries, the ascendant, the sun, the moon, the node, and the VX, they have certain important meanings to the subject of the chart being studied, whether this is a nation, an individual, or an organization. As time progressed during the early 1900s, 2 men became very, very prominent in the German schools. One is Rudolf Ebertin, who founded the Cosmobiology School, which deals with the modern planets that we are all familiar with, and Alfred Witte, who was of the Hamburg School of Astrology, and that later became known in the United States as Uranian Astrology. Alfred Witte discovered 4 additional points, followed by an associate of his in that same school, Frederick Sigrun, who found 4 more additional points, making a total of 8. The first of these Uranian planets, the first of the set of 8, all of which were discovered through analyzing charts and determining places where planets should be to describe events on Earth. The name of this particular planet is Cupido. It is associated with family, groups, communities, society, and associations, cooperations, marriage. It expresses cooperation and harmony when favorably aspected. It also covers art and art forms. Cupido puts things together, addition, summation, and summarizing, linked with assimilation and inductive and abductive reasoning. It is an extremely important point, along with all the rest of the 8. Hades is the next point, and it refers to deteriorated conditions, want, dirt, garbage, loneliness, hidden or secret matters, the underworld, the debilitation of aging, sickness and lingering illness, and medical assistance of the sick. Difficult circumstances sometimes can manifest as coarseness, rudeness, baseness, evil. Sometimes refers to that which is old or antiquated, or refers to the prehistoric past. Whenever Hades links with the past, Neptune links with the future in Uranian astrology. Hades takes things apart and is associated with analysis, investigation, deduction, and finding out hidden things or matters, so it can be linked with the forensics, investigations, and detective work. It is also associated with occultism and magic, whether this manifests as right-hand path, positive, beneficial, or good, or left-hand path, selfish, destructive, or evil, or both mixed or alternated. It depends on the level of consciousness of the native shown in the chart as a whole, and does always Hades manifests in the life of the native. Zeus is the third of this series that Witt discovered. It rules creativity, sexual procreation, controlled activity, passion to produce, desired accomplishment, fire, firearms and weapons, machines, achievements, compulsions and compulsory duties or orders, strong objectives, leadership and planning. Kronos has to do with higher ups, authority, superiors, and a family above average, high estate, managers, independence, is also referred to as having to do with mastery or to master something. Those who are in control, government, to lead intellectually or spiritually, and it is also associated with mountains or high altitude. Basically anything that is high up. Apollon. Glory, honor, business success, expansion, decreases the numbers of something, is larger, longer, or far away. Can mean many. That's usually the way it's read. Peaceful, scientific, academic. It expands experience and knowledge. Admetos, by contrast, is very much different from Apollon. It is involved in rotation, standstills, prime matter, raw materials, origin and original substance, rotation and circulation, to mark time, separations, death, perseverance, conservation, heaviness, depth. It is associated with soil and the land, solidity and permanence, concentrating or concentration, blockages and obstructions, and pressure. Bokanos has the effect of influential authority. It adds strength and power to whatever formula it's involved with. Indicates greatest force, might, and energy. It adds focus pertaining to an activity or craft. Poseidon, the final one of the 8 series, is the higher expression of Neptune, according to the Uranian school. It is spiritual, cultured, indicates high intellect, enlightenment, awareness, cognition, insight, understanding. It brings light and of concepts and ideas. Is associated with psychism, clairvoyance, etc., contemplation and meditation. Its reflections have to do with mass media, which is shared with Neptune, and also linked to religion, ideology, political beliefs, and worldview. I'm going to start doing charts in my next videos and show you how this more advanced version of astrology works, where you use the fine structure of the chart instead of just the traditional modern 360. It's important to be able to use those details that I will be showing you. But in the meantime, I want to cover some of these books. For those of you who are just interested in regular astrology, in the traditional modern format of the 360-degree chart, this is an excellent introduction and reference. It's very well worth buying. And next we have Rex E. Bill's The Rulership book, which covers the rulerships of the traditional planets, or well, the modern planets, along with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. It has the houses rulerships, it has the signs rulerships, and it's a wonderful reference I recommend for anybody interested in astrology. Next we have planets in transit. If you have a chart of yourself, of your birth, planets in transit will show you the meanings of transiting planets in traditional astrology as they move around your chart and coincide as a mirror with events in your life. Planets in Transit by Robert Hand is a seminal reference to transitings and is a wonderful book to be able to study and learn about your life. Fixed stars and constellations in astrology is also very important. Fixed stars in natal charts, or in event charts, in national charts, when they conjunct, they align with, or opposition to planets in the chart, have significant meanings in the life of natives, in the life of nations, etc. Horoscope Maker and Interpreter, Llewellyn's book is excellent. It has some very, very nice things in it that are not available in other books. I recommend it highly. Christian Astrology by William Lilly is a authoritative text. It is very old and very respected. This is the third volume of Christian Astrology. It has to do with natal charts. It's very important for traditional astrologers and those seeking to understand their nativities. Chiron. This book is very interesting and useful for understanding the go-between between Saturn and Uranus. Hellenistic Astrology by Chris Brennan is a seminal text, very important to astrologers learning the Hellenistic techniques, and introduces the rediscovered zodiacal releasing techniques, which are very important to understanding your chart and the phases that your life goes through as it unfolds. Dial Detective is the first book of the series having to do with Uranian and cosmobiology. This introduces both of those. The second edition mentions cosmobiology on the cover. This does not. This is the first edition. If you're interested in learning how to use Uranian astrology or cosmobiology with the dial, this is very important, and it's very easy to use. Maria K. Sims does an awesome job as an illustrator, illustrating the dial charts and how wonderfully using the dial works to understand your life. There are details that are very important to describing your life that are made clear through specific statements in the dial methods. This is Rules for Planetary Pictures. This is my old book that I've had for like 35, maybe 40 years. It's kind of rugged now, but you can get you a brand new copy from astrologers.com, the American Federation of Astrologers website. Rules for Planetary Pictures is the seminal text for looking up the meanings of midpoints, sums, and three-part formulas in dial astrology, especially dealing with Uranian bodies. A secondary book, Combination of Stellar Influences by Reinhold Ebertin, is using only the traditional modern set, which goes up to Pluto, but it is still very effective in providing specific statements about the life if any formula registers in your chart to your personal points, which are midheaven, Aries, Sun, Ascendant, Moon, Node, Vertex, and also to planets in the chart. It is very important to be able to use these references to be able to do a deep study of just about anything you're doing astrological. All right, so this is the end of my second episode on this YouTube channel, and I'm very appreciative of anyone watching this. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you will like it.